So we are now back on, like I was saying, we are now back on health and safety policies. That your health and safety policies are required to demonstrate to your top management that they have concern to protect every worker in the organization against, please everybody mute yourself, against hazard at the workplace. And when it comes to health and safety policies, there must be a policy statement that says we are to prevent accidents. I'm just using it as an example. You can write what you want to write. In this organization, that is our policy statement. Then your general statement will be for everybody that enters this organization, we ensure that your safety is secured as long as you are within our premises. Then you now begin to describe each of the this thing. Maybe don't pass this road. Everybody is now expected to pass this place because of heavy trucks. Everybody is expected to wear helmet because you are going to class to factory. So all those things you must put it down in your health and safety policy so that your management must know that they are supposed to make every provision to ensure that organizations are protected as the case may be. As the case may be, they must be protected in the workplace. Then the next thing you need to do after you have written your policy statement is to do risk assessment. As a manager, we expect you to be so concerned to look out for all the hazard that is in that organization and begin to analyze the risk that will be involved. So if we have a machine, what is the likelihood of hazard that will come from that machine? If we have wire that is lying on the floor, what is the likelihood of that will happen to those wires? Those are the things we expect to hear from you or to see from your risk analysis report. You must concern yourself when you are doing your risk analysis report with identifying every hazard in that organization, as little as leaking roof, as little as toilet that has no that is shaking, that all the hooks has removed, as little as the chair that is supposed to stand on 3 ground with 3 rows that now has only one rolling this thing and the other ones has fallen off, that is making the employees to bend to one side and have ribs pains. All those things are the things that you are supposed to concern yourself to begin to go and identify, because your hazard is anything that will cause you harm. So like I said before, it can be object. How is object tagged as tagged in the office? It can be electricity, it can be chemicals, the paint that we are producing, how are we keeping it? So you have to make sure that you look at all those things when you are doing your risk analysis. Then the risk is the chance, whether large or small, that harm is likely going to be done by this ABCD. So that's why you have to look at every ABCD in the organization to say, okay, the chair that is not good, if it's a classroom like this, okay, this one, the iron that they use, this iron that is protruding out of this place, students may run into it and they will get injured. This one that is protruding like this, it may become a future danger for this. This hypo that they kept like this, what if somebody sees it and drinks it, it becomes a problem. All those things you must look out for it as a risk within the organization as a manager and take care of it. The purpose of your risk assessment is to make sure that you prevent every accident that want to happen or every injury that may want to happen in that place. Whatever it is, you need to. And so as you are doing the risk assessment, you are doing a record of it. And those records must come where you have more or 5 employees working for you. If you have 5 or more employees working for you, you are supposed to do risk assessment, check your organization very well, look at the environment, look at the inside the offices, look at the factories, look at the machines, look at the vehicle itself, everything. This vehicle, how high is the brake, the tires, when last did it change? All those things are your risk assessment as the case may be. So under your risk assessment, you are looking at materials. How do we receive materials in the workplace? Do we use lifters, forklifts, or do we use people to just camp it? You are looking at the stocking and storaging. How are we filing the materials? You are looking at the movement of people. Is our staircase big enough, or do we need to rearrange it? Bring down the one that we have. Maybe we have this one that is round, that is so narrow that two people cannot. So what if there is fire accident? How do we run out of this place? Please, whoever that person is should mute himself. Please, person should mute up. So how do we now redo that staircase in case of fire and we can all run out without hitting one another? If it is building, how can we get to the roof in case there is breeze like the Lagos breeze in the last 2 weeks that rain has come? So many people's roof has been taken away. So if your own is on the 5th floor, 10th floor, how do we now? So do we use ordinary plank ladder, or do we buy the industrial one? So all those things are the risk that you'll be checking out for. The electricity that we are using, do we have a surge? If we have a surge, do we have breakers, that's your stabilizers or whatever it is that can take off some of those currents, so that when we go back from when we leave the offices and go back home, there is no fire outrage in our offices. If it's operators that's operating a machine, do we have the PPEs for them, all their personal protective equipment? Do we have it on ground? Do their hand gloves, their shoes, their goggles, their helmet, is it there? Are they even wearing it? So these are the things that you are supposed to be moving around to check when you're doing your risk assessment, carrying out those risks to make sure you consider what will harm the employee, what will harm visitors, what will harm contractors, what will harm the general public. Whatever it is, you have to look at it when you are doing your risk assessment. And in doing the risk assessment, these are the kind of hazards that you are likely going to find out. They are the ones that are catastrophic in nature. Those ones are the ones that bring imminent dangers and death for us. Like somebody, if you now give somebody a ladder that cannot, the one that is not an industrial one, to climb 2, 3, 4-story buildings, if the person lands from there, that is almost death. That's if the person does not get paralyzed for life. So those ones, you separate them out, that these ones, or maybe the wire that is lying loosely, if accident happens, that person is going to die immediately because the electrocution will occur. All those things are the things you need to be looking out for. Then there are ones that are critical, that can result in serious injuries or severe injuries. Also, like maybe vehicle that is not well taken care of, the tires and the distance. If it happens, death may occur, other injuries may occur. Then you have the ones that are minor. Maybe like I talked about, sitting on a chair. After some time, you just notice that parts are paining you because you have been bending. That chair does not have complete leg, and you have been bending, and you have been bending, and in that your bendings, it is causing issues for you. Then you have the one that is negligible. Those negligible ones are the ones that they don't cause serious injuries. Please, can you go that side? Go that side. I'm busy here. You have the one that is negligible, as the case may be. Those negligible ones are the ones that do not cause serious injuries. So those ones are the ones you can treat with your first aid. You can treat with whatever it is. If you're using it, to go outside and use it. Those ones that can cause unserious injuries that you can treat with this. So when you are categorizing your risk assessment report, please categorize them into these 4, so that management will know that, let's say a cable has fallen, they will know that this one is a serious danger that can take as much life. They will immediately go and lift it up. But if it that somebody falls on the staircase and dust himself and just have scratches, you can say, okay, this one is just that they have to do regular mopping of the floor, or maybe all the green mucus on the floor need to be scrubbed so that people don't fall. Is not as weighty in terms of injury causing or death as the other ones. So you could also pick up those ones as this. So you have to categorize them when it comes to your hazard, your risk assessment. Categorize them into those zones. After you have finished doing your risk assessment, the next thing you need to do is auditing. You need to do safety and health audit every time. What does it entail? You want to test the whole organization to make sure that your organization is meeting its safety and health objectives and aims. So what do you do when you are doing your auditing? You are auditing the hierarchy to ask, are they interested in all that concerns the health and safety issues of the organization? You are auditing the delegation of authorities, especially for those that work in the places that have health and safety issues, maybe those ones in the factory, are they actually making sure that they're doing what they're asked to do? Then policy making, the policies of those organizations and the implementation of those policies, how safe it is to the health and safety program of that particular organization. So your self-auditing is to check the totality. It's not like just your risk assessment that you want to check out, take certain part and then look at what it is, which one is dangerous, which one is not dangerous, and the rest for the organization. This one, you have to look at everybody that is involved in that organization to check out what they're doing from the head to the toe, whether it is safe for that organization. Because sometimes if your boss does not give a damn about the organization when it comes to health and safety, when you're talking about buying forklift, he will tell you what are those boys doing, let them go and stack that in, let them go and carry it. But somebody may carry it and then the thing falls and another person falls on head, falls on back injuries, spinal cord injuries, and it becomes an issue. So then when you do your self-auditing, you must make sure that everybody is audited. In your self-audit, it can be conducted by either safety advisors or consultant or HR specialists. It is their job to do it. The purpose of it is that you want to generate actions that will stop any form of accidents happening in the future in that particular organization. Because by the time you have done auditing and see that our Oga does not put interest, so the next thing your report is showing that Oga put interest, so that this thing does not happen. The people that are delegating are not watching. You begin to watch your people so that they don't kill all of us here. The policy that we are putting is not covering health and safety, so every policy must cover health and safety. The condition of this must put priority when it comes to health and safety in the workplace, and the course that is approved or the program that must be done must be approved by the organizational management, people in the management team or the management level. Then let us go to health and safety inspections. After you have done your auditing, the next thing is to begin to do inspections. Begin to make design to examine every specific area in that organization. You want to begin to locate where there are faults in either system, in either equipment, in either machine, every error that will come to harm anybody in the organization. So in your inspection, you have to go and start looking at. And that's why HR managers cannot afford to sit in one place. You need to go out and check all those things. Begin to carry out a regular systematic inspection. And in it also, it's not just the HR manager, the line managers have a duty also to begin to look out for anything that will harm the people that are working with them, people that are working with you. It is your duty as a line manager to begin to look at their office, what is happening there in terms of their safety, at the plant level, at the depot level, at the factory level, at the warehouse level, what is happening in those places. You must look at it, find out if they need help, and then begin to advise those that need to bring up those help to those particular places. So if you're a line manager, you notice that, okay, the chairs are not good. What do? Just write the report that the chairs in my faculty or my department is not good. Irons are protruding. There is not enough chair. This is hurting people as they run as they run around, they get hurt. I need those things removed. Then you pass it to the HR manager, who will now pass it to the other bigger orgas. And before you know it, they begin to look at and when you are doing that, please put the cost implication that if people are hurt and they don't come to work, it's going to cost us this, and then otherwise they will just tell you it's not here. I push it by the side now. So let them know that once it happens, it's going to cost so, and if people don't come to work, they are not working, will cost us this. In case there's bigger damages or injuries, our compensation will cost us this. And so they begin to know, they weigh the option, change chair or buy a new one. It will cost us less than to pay compensation. So they will just quickly go and buy those chairs as it is. Then, what are the steps you need to follow if you are going to do accident preventions? Number 1, identify the causes of those accidents. Number 2, take into account all the safety factors from the time you are building to the time the system is in operation. Then design safety equipment and protective equipment. Ensure that people wear those protective equipment. Carry out your regular risk assessment. Investigate all accidents that is resulting to damage or harm. So accidents happen the first time. Maybe it's a staircase, somebody climbed and fell and injured. Second time, another person is climbing down and fell. Another person is going up. Then that means that you need to go and investigate. It's either that the rail is no longer strong, so when they hold it, it shifts and they fall. Or maybe somebody is pouring water, or maybe there is a broken part of that staircase that people are not seeing, and they put their leg and they get. So by the time you investigate, you see those damages and you begin to put your corrective actions. You must also maintain a good record or statistics of all the problems that you have identified, and then how satisfactory the trends are or unsatisfactory. If it is unsatisfactory, then things need to change. You have to also conduct serious training for as many that are working for you if you want to prevent action in the workplace. Those people that are working, continuous telling them about the need for health and safety. The need for health and safety in that place. They need not to pour water. They need not to leave office appliances on when going home. They need not to drive rough. They need not to tamper with whatever you are not supposed to tamper. They need, so everything about health and safety. Continuously let them know and encourage the leadership of your organization to be motivated towards making sure that the health and safety of that particular place is okay. So after you have put up those steps, the next thing you need to do is to begin to design your health and safety program. In designing your health and safety program, you can use the rate frequency. What do? You look at the number of injuries that happened, divided by the number of work hours, and then you times it by your 100,000. Whatever it gives you will let you know what injuries occurs in the hour. Let's say we work for 8 hours, and in 8 hours we have 4 injuries. Multiply it. So when you are designing, so it's either you are going to really design in such a way that the work hour is reduced. That means for every 2 hours, one person is hurt. For every 2 hours, one person is hurt. So what do? What I do now is to make sure that I space their work hours. Maybe that work is not so tedious, and the work hour is giving them tight deadline that they are all making mistake, putting their hand because they want to make sure that they produce that product before they go in that 8 hours. So we can decide to do flexibility. Instead of one person doing a total 8 hours, what do? We begin to shift it. Okay, you come and do 4 hours, you do 4 hours, another person will come again and do 4 hours. Well, what are we having? In 24 hours of 8 times, that's 8 times 4. We now have 4 workers instead of just maybe, or we have 8 workers instead of just 4, and I will be doing it, and then we'll have less injuries in the workplace. Or we'll do rotational, you rotate your own, I rotate my own, or you do today and you are, so that workplace injuries can reduce when you look at those rates. Whether it's in the hospital, instead of allowing a doctor to do 72 hours, which is 3 days, you can say, okay, do 1 day, total 1 day, then go home. Another doctor will come and do another total 1 day. You will come back. So you rotate it for them daily, not that you go and do 3 days and go and rest 1 day. Another person come and do 3 days and go and rest 1 day. Another person, because there's no way fatigue will not come in. So you can use that to redesign what will keep away accidents and injuries from the workplace. Or you can use the issue rate to say, okay, the number of injuries, average the number of people employed at that particular period of time. So I employed 10, and out of these 10, 5 of them have injuries. So it's either I'm going to look at the training I gave them when I employed them, or I'm going to look at their skill and expertise in handling that machine. So with that, you can redesign your health and safety program to say this one is not qualified. So for you to be able to do this work for us, you must have so certificate so that will keep you away from danger. Or maybe the people I employ don't like wearing PPEs, so I cannot mandate that it's because out of the 10 that I employed, 5 don't like wearing PPE. They say there is heat in Nigeria, and so we now make our health and safety program in such a way that you must wear your PPE irrespective of the heat, and then the organization also must go and put AC to make the place cool. So you can also use severity rate as the case may be. What is the loss that has happened through the accident per 1 million hours worked in that particular industry. You can use it to look at the severity. And once you have done it and you find out that there is so much to be done, then the next thing you have to do is to begin to do staff training. If it is as a result of work hours, or as a result of what do I call the other one? Result of average number of people employed or severity, you can say, okay, we are going to do training for you based on your mentality or your physical health, or your physical life or whatever it is, do a good training for them so that they'll become better in it. And in doing the training for them, please let them understand there are so many types of hazard. There could be the chemical hazard, those ones that comes with chemicals, that comes with your carbon dioxide, your nitrogen dioxide, your ozone depletion, your turmeric acid, your lime, your alkaline, that causes injuries that could lead to either neurological disorder, cancer, heart disease. So you teach them about it so that when the man sees a chemical, he knows that no, I cannot touch. Or when a man goes to the rig, for example, where the force that brings that oil that is millions of miles away, he knows that he cannot go close to go and sit close to where that thing will pop and affect him. Or the man that is supposed to be watching the mask will now know that I cannot go and be sleeping under the mask. All these are our telecom mask, because of radiation that comes with it. Is a chemical. So they must know that these are the kind of hazard that must come. And it is from this hazard that you begin to talk about the types that it could become injurious, more injurious, or minor injury and the rest, so that they will know. So that that man that is under the mask will know that, yeah, so I watch over it, but I'm not supposed to go. Because some people will they don't want to rent house in Lagos again. They'll go and build plank around that place. All their bed, everything is inside that mask, and they live there because they want to watch over it. They now live there totally. So the person is being exposed. You have to give them training. You also give them training on the one that is caused by what we call the biological hazard, those ones that come from insects, bacteria, fungi, viruses, whatever it is that comes there, that will cause you either brain damage, brain fever, imbalances, tetanus, or whatever. You can also teach them that. And to say, keep your environment very, very clean. Keep the front of your office very, very clean. Keep your home very, very clean, so that they will know. I don't take this thing. Or also organization too. We need to do fumigation so that all those reptiles that will crawl in and bite people, or crabs that may come in. If you're in Lagos, let's say University of Lagos, that crab walks all around. So all those things you need to teach them, so that when they see it, they will now know that alligator that come in need to be removed immediately. We need to do fumigation, and that fumigation could even be done where there are so much rats, because those rats can bring Lassa fever. So you need to let them know, so that they don't see it as a shaping ordinary rat. Let it be multiplying now, and then it multiplies and then brings sicknesses to the organization. And then the environmental hazard, those that are caused by either noise pollution, vibrations, illuminations, and the rest of it. You can also teach them about it, that if you are aware there's so much noise, if you are aware that you have to use your earphone all throughout the day, that you are just prolonging your days of ear loss, because the time will come, people don't shout, you will not hear. So for those people that work in places that they produce all the crown covers and the rest of them, you teach them also that once they're inside that particular place where those heavy heatings are going on, noise is going on, that ear plug that they gave to them, they need to wear it at that particular time. Because I know they do shift of 3-3. Some people will come from 9, close at 12, another people will come from 12, just like that, so that your ear is not affected. When they get there, they don't come and do macho man and leave their ears open to say, I'm a young man, I'm hearing. You may hear that time, but as you enter your 40s and 50s, your hearing losses will come in, and it becomes a factor for you. Then also let them know about that training, about the psychological hazard, the one that comes from stress, that brings stressor to them, the one that comes from the role demand, the one that comes from organizational leadership, and that, so that they also will begin to walk away from those stressors. So if there is a boss that you know that will trigger stress for you, you avoid the person as much as possible. If there is something that will cause conflict, you avoid it as much as possible. If there is something that will change your life in the negative way, you avoid it as fast as possible. If there is a job that they are giving you that you know that within you cannot do, you can openly open up and say, I cannot do it. So all these are some of the places you can teach them to know when you are doing that training for them. The importance of your health and safety is that you want to improve and maintain employees' performance. You want to reduce absenteeism at work. You want to reduce costs in terms of money, because once accident happens, people will not come to work, and money will be lost in terms of production, compensation will be paid, and so company will lose. We want to minimize unrest, because if there is where they have union and they lose to somebody, they will go on rampage, they may lock up and all those things, they may go on strike to say we have lost our own person, company must pay. So if you want to reduce those industrial disputes, you also need to pay attention to health and safety. If you want to improve productivity, attention must be paid to health and safety. If you want to stop legal tussles, or people going to court, taking you to court, and you also need to pay attention to health and safety, because somebody's husband that hand is cut will not allow you to go. The one that your truck will hit to kill, they will still come back for you, they will take you to court, and all those going is money. And according to the International Health Organization, it is your health and safety is to protect workers against hazard, to make workers to be mentally and physically okay, and then to contribute to the bottom line success of the organization. For you to prevent any accident in the workplace, that's for the prevention. Please, during the pre-employment during your employment or recruitment, do a pre-employment medical test. From there, you'll be able to know all the health conditions. We're not saying go and expose it to everybody, but that way you will know who is carrying which and know where to place them to avoid accidents happening. That's where you will see those psychological abnormalities that is there. Then you can then say, okay, this person is not fit to here, but it's a talent for us. We can put him on this place for his own safety and for all our safety. Aside that, periodically do medical examination. In that your periodic medical examination, what are you doing? You are indirectly trying to check if there are some people that have gotten, maybe somebody that was not using glasses and is now not using glasses, but his eyes are getting dim. So you are now recommending, so before you go and burn the office or before you go and cut your hand, you have to start using glasses. So from those pre-disease, you begin to see some other sicknesses that have come up that can be prevented by giving the man glass. So as he's using the glasses, he now knows that this is where the switch is better. He can see the other one better. He can see that the fan belt is not there working. He can see what is wrong, and then he avoid the accident. Then everything that will bring accidents, you have to remove it. Every hazard condition, you should try as much as possible to remove it. If it's a pole that has fallen, take it away. If it's a wire that has pulled out, please, if you cannot replace immediately, fold it, tie it, and then take it up. If it is properties that are not well arranged, arrange it very well. If it's something that need to be stocked up, just make sure that those things, and then you can also keep surveillance on all the employees, especially those that are women and aged, so that they don't go doing things they're not supposed to do. You see a man that is already 60 something, you want to go and carry something, he's just waiting to hear car. Once he hears that, he's back, because it will happen. The bones are no longer strong. Once it happens like that, you see somebody will come and say it is office, so, and then you have to pay a further compensation. So you have to put surveillance on those people to make sure that they are not exposed to hazard. And then every accident that has happened, please, immediate treatment is a better way, apart from education, lighting up our places, making sure that there is disposal of refuse and treatment plant, scheduling for work, so that people can have adequate rest, and making sure that people wear their protective equipment. Then if it is corrective, let's say the accident has already occurred and you want to do corrective one, the first one you have to make sure is that adequate and timely treatment is given to anybody that have accident. Don't delay it if you want to cure it. And if peradventure the person is getting better, please allow the person to get himself. Let them get better before they come. Don't rush them to come, because they're just getting better. And if they rush and come, another accident may come. Maybe that wound has not healed, something will hit it, or maybe the hand cannot carry something and they go and carry. So allow them. Also, allow the best medical treatment outside your hospital. Maybe you have your hospital in Apapa and this incident happened in your plant in Agbara. Don't say the hospital is in Agbara. No, carry that person to Apapa. That's where we have a hospital. Allow the hospital outside to treat them. That way you'll be saving that life. You can then from there transfer to your Apapa hospital, because sometimes if you are moving from Agbara to Apapa, the person, if it's internal bleeding or what, may even die, and your company will pay compensation. So if you can save as much as possible, please save it by making sure the person is treated from that place. Then ask them for referral to your place. Let that first aid be given in that place and save life. Then adequate compensation for the cases of injuries is what you need to know that you must have. Then what causes this our accident? Unsafe condition can cause it. When we talk about unsafe condition, when you have defective plant, defective tools, defective equipment, machine material, a machine has broken down, you are saying manage it, manage it. Car has broken down, you say manage it, manage it. Chair has broken down, you are saying just sit, just shebi is only one leg that is not there, just keep managing it. A computer does not have rotating screen, and the man is saying my eye I can't see. He say I just manage it, wait I will buy another one. 2 years after you have not bought another one, it can cause that accident that will need to happen. And then unsafe art also is another thing that causes it, when we do certain things that we're not supposed to do in the place of work. Some of us, they say use the gadget, you don't want to use it. It's an unsafe art. Some of us will carelessly play in the office. Some will even throw things around. Somebody, you are playing, you just do something, throw another person. Some will, all those things. Some will go and use equipment that they say don't touch, you are going to touch it. All those things can cause accidents in the workplace. Other things that can cause accidents in the workplace include bad working condition, unhealthy work environment, dust and fumes, arrogant behaviors, people that believe that I know it all, I am a macho man, I can do it, nothing will happen. Those ones can also cause accidents in the workplace. And all these accidents is going to cost us money once it happens. Millions of us, millions of Nigerians across the world in all industries are exposed to this risk of accident. And if we don't take care of it and prevent them from happening, there is no way to not put a huge financial burden on your business and on the people self. Because a man whose hand is cut cannot fend for himself again. So it becomes a financial burden for him and his dependents. And company also that is paying for the compensation, it is a financial burden on them too, because what happens is that once you place it there, it becomes an issue for you. Then other costs that may be faced by other people is also there. You find that morally is a cost. People will not, other workers will be so careful. They don't want to touch that machine again because they have seen that it cut somebody's hand, and that will lower the production, and it is a cost for you. There may also be interruption of production because you may have to shut that machine down or shut that plant down. Let's say there's fire outbreak, everything shut down until repairs comes up. Sometimes you spend so much time investigating than preparing report that people don't go back to work, so money is lost. The money you use to recruit new people to take over is also a money loss. Then the quality of your work pool will also reduce, which is a loss, because some people will leave, say I don't want to work in that place, it's unsafe, so it is also a loss. Damage to your equipment and materials is also a loss. Reduction in the quality of your product, because people will not want to be committed, they stay far and be watching the thing so that it will not enter my eye, and so they will not be there to own it and make sure it is well produced. So by the time your market goes out and people are complaining, you find out that you are losing also. Reduction in productivity is also a loss. So all these are the losses you will get if at any time your organization is not paying attention to health and safety in the workplace. And that's where we'll stop for today. And I want to say thank you for having me. If you have your questions, you have your answers that you want us to look at, you are free to release them as we go on in the class. Thank you so much.